Proverbs chapter 2 verses 16 to 19. To deliver you from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flatters with her words, which forsakes the guide of her youth, and forgets the covenant of her God. For her house inclines to death, and her paths to the dead. None that go to her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life. The first book of Moses called Genesis. Chapter 29. Then Jacob went on his journey, and came into the land of the people of the east. And he looked, and behold a well in the field, and, lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it, for out of that well they watered the flocks, and a great stone was on the well's mouth. And thither were all the flocks gathered, and they rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the sheep, and put the stone again on the well's mouth in his place. And Jacob said to them, My brethren, from where be you? And they said, Of Haran are we. And he said to them, Know you Laban the son of Nahor? And they said, We know him. And he said to them, Is he well? And they said, He is well, and, behold, Rachel his daughter comes with the sheep. And he said, Lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together, water you the sheep, and go and feed them. And they said, We cannot, until all the flocks be gathered together, until they roll the stone from the well's mouth, then we water the sheep. And while he yet spoke with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass, when Jacob saw Rachel the daughter of Laban his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban his mother's brother, that Jacob went near, and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel, and lifted up his voice, and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son, and she ran and told her father. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob his sister's son, that he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, Surely you are my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. And Laban said to Jacob, Because you are my brother, should you therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall your wages be? And Laban had 2 daughters, the name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And Jacob loved Rachel, and said, I will serve you 7 years for Rachel your younger daughter. And Laban said, It is better that I give her to you, than that I should give her to another man, abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed to him but a few days, for the love he had to her. And Jacob said to Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go into her. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place, and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening, that he took Leah his daughter, and brought her to him, and he went into her. And Laban gave to his daughter Leah Zilpah his maid for an handmaid. And it came to pass, that in the morning, behold, it was Leah, and he said to Laban, What is this you have done to me? Did not I serve with you for Rachel? Why then have you beguiled me? And Laban said, It must not be so done in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give you this also for the service which you shall serve with me yet 7 other years. And Jacob did so, and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel his daughter to wife also. And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah his handmaid to be her maid. And he went in also to Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 other years. And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. And Leah conceived, and bore a son, and she called his name Reuben, for she said, Surely the Lord has looked on my affliction, now therefore my husband will love me. And she conceived again, and bore a son, and said, Because the Lord has heard I was hated, he has therefore given me this son also, and she called his name Simeon. And she conceived again, and bore a son, and said, Now this time will my husband be joined to me, because I have borne him 3 sons, therefore was his name called Levi. And she conceived again, and bore a son, and she said, Now will I praise the Lord, therefore she called his name Judah, and left bearing. Genesis chapter 30, verses 1 to 21. And when Rachel saw that she bore Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister, and said to Jacob, Give me children, or else I die. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, Am I in God's stead, who has withheld from you the fruit of the womb? And she said, Behold my maid Bilhah, go into her, and she shall bear on my knees, that I may also have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah her handmaid to wife, and Jacob went into her. And Bilhah conceived, and bore Jacob a son. And Rachel said, God has judged me, and has also heard my voice, and has given me a son, therefore called she his name Dan. And Bilhah Rachel's maid conceived again, and bore Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, With great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed, and she called his name Naphtali. When Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah her maid, and gave her Jacob to wife. And Zilpah Leah's maid bore Jacob a son. And Leah said, A troop comes, and she called his name Gad. And Zilpah Leah's maid bore Jacob a second son. And Leah said, Happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed, and she called his name Asher. And Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest, and found mandrakes in the field, and brought them to his mother Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, Give me, I pray you, of your son's mandrakes. And she said to her, Is it a small matter that you have taken my husband? And would you take away my son's mandrakes also? And Rachel said, Therefore he shall lie with you tonight for your son's mandrakes. And Jacob came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him, and said, You must come in to me, for surely I have hired you with my son's mandrakes. And he lay with her that night. And God hearkened to Leah, and she conceived, and bore Jacob the fifth son. And Leah said, God has given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband, and she called his name Issachar. And Leah conceived again, and bore Jacob the sixth son. And Leah said, God has endued me with a good dowry, now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons, and she called his name Zebulun. And afterwards she bore a daughter, and called her name Dinah.